I got in a car with a fella the other day and he was telling me about the Irish Free State. This is the Irish Free State, where you see the Republic. See, when there was a revolution, the Irish Free State turned on all the real revolutionaries. This is what he said. He turned on all the real revolutionaries and killed them all. And then they created a little group called to go around and killing all the Protestants in Ireland. And they done a land grab. And you see all this beautiful land around here, look. And all over Ireland. They gave it to the people, the fathers of the people who run the country now. They're like a cult of they're called the blue shirts and the brown shirts, but it's the blue shirts that have the majority at the moment. And now they're robbing all the wealth of the oil and they're giving it up to Statoil. So it's basically being run by a foreign country. It's being run by the Nordics, the Danish. And it was basically a land grab and a wealth grab. And they look after one another, they don't look after anyone else. The Irish government is the most elitist government in the Western Hemisphere. Because they're a different tribe, they're the tribe of the Danann. They're not the tribe. They're not the, you know, when you come over to Ireland and they used to be called the saints, the Irish saints and scholars and all the teachings of the saints and scholars. Well, over the centuries, they started off years ago with the Vatican. And when they called in a bishop, the bishop is the patricius, the bishop, yeah, Patrick. And they started off, this is a long time ago, to rob and plunder and pillage on this island. And they brought in the Normans and the Norsemen. And the High King and the Vikings, they fought against them very courageously and bravely, but because they were overwhelmed. And they slowly but surely took away everything that was held the truth. So what you are taught today in this day and age, right now in this land, is a pack of lies. And the people that tell the truth, they're not valued. They don't want to hear the truth. People in this, and when you start to tell the truth, they turn up looking for you. It's like the Matrix. It is actually like the Matrix. Because if you resonate at a different vibrational level than they do, the truth, if it vibrates at a different level than a lie, it's up on a higher plane. These little creatures turn up looking for you. And they start harassing you, and you can't prosper like in this physical world. So basically, I spent 25 years looking for the truth. I went into the books, and then eventually I went into the Bible. And I read the whole of the modern King James Bible, what we have now from front to back. I read some passages numerous times. But when I went round a guy's gaff the other day, I went round his house yesterday, he pulled out a Bible that was only a few hundred years old. And in that Bible, half of the Old Testament that was in that Bible is missing from the Bible that they give you now. And that was available to people years ago, but you know, many people couldn't read back then. But as people began to learn how to read, they thought, "Ooh, they're not listening to us, they're reading this for themselves. We're going to have to remove these books because they'll discover that everything we're telling them is lies." So you had like the book of Maccabees, and there's a book called the Book of Wisdom that used to be in the Bible. And it actually gives you instructions of how to be wise, how to learn to be wise. That's just amazing to me, that the government and the priests, because they do a pincer movement. The Vatican is one side and the government's on the other, and they're letting on they're not with one another, but they are. But they're acting like the head of a bull. And if you look around Dublin, you'll see the head of the bull everywhere. You'll see the temple of the bull, Temple Bar. You'll see bulls. You'll see bulls outside the mayor's office in the place next door called Fire. You'll see bulls in all the there's a bull everywhere, especially around where the rich are, up near Leinster House and all. They're pincer movement the people, squeezing them, telling them lies. So the truth will set you free. So as long as these blue shirts and these brown shirts, the sons of these blue shirts and these brown shirts are in the army, the navy, the police and government, you'll always be lied to. because it's not in their nature to tell the truth. That's why they're called the serpent tribe. The serpent tribe only know how to deceive. They don't tell the truth. They can't. It's not in their nature. It's like asking, putting a mouse in with a starving viper, and asking it not to, and the one that's hungry, and asking it not to bite it and inject its venom into it and swallowing it. If the snake's just going to eat it, that's what you're asking them not to do, because in their net they're poisonous by their very nature, and they're cutthroats, and they'll stab you in the back. Now, they stabbed the British Empire, which was the British Empire was founded on the teachings of my ancestor from the Rock of Cashel, after the Khan Athelstan. So they stabbed the British Empire in the back because the British were sick of war. They had been fighting the Germans, and they struck where they stabbed them in the back where they were off over on that side. The British were off over there in Europe fighting the Germans. The sneaky slimy serpents run up behind them and stabbed them in the back. Nobody wanted the revolution, only a handful, and it was backed up by the Vatican to break apart the British Empire and to steal the natural resources and give them up to the Dan tribe in the north. And they're doing that now. There's 100 trillion of water, gas and oil off the coast of Ireland, and there's 24 billion of it after being, there's like 40 billion of it in a bank account. Up in Statoil have it in a bank account, a trust fund, and they give a cheque to every person in the country that Statoil is owned by, and you guys get nothing. If I was to receive a cheque every year from Statoil for the oil and the natural resources that are off my ancestral home, I'd probably be a trillionaire by now, because it's my ancestral home, it's my ancestral land. See this hill behind me? When Patrick come over here to spread his lies, when he was satanised, see, he come over here, he was Patrick, but they satanised him after, they made him a saint. He's Satan's Patrick. My ancestor said to him, basically told him to fuck off. They didn't want him to come here and change the old ways, but he came all the same. And they didn't, there was either being war all over Europe, so they just, basically they knew they didn't really have any fights. Well, the history teaches us that, but there was other history where Patrick and all just came up to villages and threatened to burn all the children if they didn't convert to the heathen religion of the worship of the Queen of Heaven and stuff like that. It's very bad stuff, but Jesus says clearly that the Queen comes from the utmost parts of the earth in the teachings in the Bible. So there's no Queen, and the Queen of Heaven is a fabrication as far as we can make out. Another fabrication. But they're pushing the Queen of Heaven now, they're pushing all this, they have all these people saying that the Queen of Heaven this, the Queen of Heaven that. But the Queen of Heaven is not factual. There is a Queen, but she's not in heaven. She's as far as I know, she's underneath. That's what Jesus said anyway. The utmost parts of the earth to judge this generation. But the blue shirts and the brown shirts, yeah. So you'll see the coppers always have a blue shirt on. That comes from the blue shirts. That's why they're the boys in blue. And in the Bible it says the blue and purple from the oils of Elijah and the multitude of your warfares. Democracy. Here.